Did you know that the Great Wall of China, one of the seven wonders of the world, was built on the backs of countless lives lost during its construction? Indeed, this colossal structure, stretching over 13,000 miles, is not just a marvel of human engineering, it's a monument to the blood, sweat, and tears of countless people. For centuries, the wall was built and rebuilt, not by willing artisans, but by forced labor. Men, women, and even children were conscripted into service. Their lives consumed by the ceaseless toil. And the toll was heavy. Thousands upon thousands perished under the harsh conditions, their bodies becoming part of the very wall they were forced to erect. Their stories, their sacrifices, remain embedded in the stone. A silent testament to the grim reality behind this architectural wonder. This is just one example of the dark side of history, which often goes unmentioned in textbooks. When you think of Egypt, the pyramids of Giza might come to mind, but behind the grandeur lies a grim tale. The pyramids, these majestic structures that have stood the test of time, are not just architectural marvels. They are also a testament to a time when human life was expendable in the pursuit of grandiosity. Imagine the scene thousands of years ago. A sweltering desert, the sun beating down mercilessly, thousands of workers toiling day in, day out, hauling massive stone blocks with nothing more than primitive tools and sheer determination. They were not skilled craftsmen, but slaves, forced to work under brutal conditions. The pyramid builders lived a life of hardship and deprivation. Their diet was meager, consisting mainly of bread and beer. Medical care was practically non-existent, and injuries were frequent. Broken bones, heat strokes, and even deaths were common occurrences, but the work never stopped. The construction of these grand structures took precedence over everything else, even human life. The death toll was staggering. It's estimated that tens of thousands of workers lost their lives during the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza alone. These were not just numbers, but individuals with dreams and families, yet their sacrifices went largely unnoticed. Their names lost to history. The pyramids were built to serve as eternal resting places for pharaohs, a testament to their power and glory, but the cost of their construction was borne by those at the bottom of the societal hierarchy. The stories of these laborers, their struggles and sacrifices, are etched into every stone that makes up these ancient wonders. These architectural marvels, as awe-inspiring as they are, bear witness to a dark chapter in human history. They stand as a stark reminder of the human cost that can be exacted in the pursuit of greatness. The pyramids, a symbol of ancient civilization, carry with them a heavy human cost. As we marvel at these structures, let's not forget the countless lives that were expended in their making. Their legacy is a reminder of the harsh reality that often lies behind great achievements. The Roman Colosseum, a symbol of glory and power, was also a place of brutal and violent spectacles. As we delve deeper into the darker side of history, we find ourselves standing in the heart of Rome, gazing upon the grandeur of the Colosseum. This architectural marvel, a testament to the Roman Empire's might, was more than just a showcase of their prowess in construction. It was the stage for some of history's most brutal and gruesome spectacles. Imagine the deafening roars of the crowd, the heart-thumping anticipation, the chilling thrill of danger. This was the atmosphere that filled the Colosseum during the infamous gladiatorial games. Gladiators, often slaves or captives, were trained to fight to the death for the amusement of the spectators. These battles were not merely fights, they were choreographed dances of death, where the gladiator's fate was sealed by the spectators' thumbs. And then there were the animal hunts, or venaciones. Exotic beasts from the far reaches of the empire were brought to the arena to be hunted and killed. These creatures, unfamiliar and terrifying, were used to demonstrate Rome's dominance over nature. Executions too were a common spectacle in the Colosseum. Condemned prisoners were often put to death in gruesome ways, their demise serving as a stark warning to those who dared to defy the empire. The sand of the arena was soaked with the blood of countless individuals who lost their lives in these cruel entertainments. Yet, the spectators reveled in these violent spectacles. They saw them as a testament to their civilization's might and were blind to the immense suffering they caused. It's estimated that hundreds of thousands of people and animals perished in the Colosseum during its active years. The Colosseum, while a marvel of architecture, has a grim history painted in blood. As we step away from the echoes of its dark past, we're reminded of the depths humanity can sink to in the name of entertainment and power. A chilling testament to our history indeed. The Spanish Inquisition, one of the darkest chapters in human history, was a period marked by extreme religious persecution and brutality. It was a time when the lines between faith and fear, belief and betrayal were blurred, casting a long, dreadful shadow over the landscape of humanity. In the late 15th century, Spain was a melting pot of cultures and religions. Yet, beneath this apparent harmony, a storm was brewing. A storm of intolerance and suspicion, fueled by the Catholic monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella. Their objective was singular and chillingly clear: to purify Spain, to make it a nation of only one faith. Their method, the Inquisition. In the name of religious purity, the inquisitors wielded their power with an iron fist. They sought out those they deemed heretics, Jews, Muslims, and even Christians who didn't adhere strictly to Catholic doctrine. Once accused, the fate of these individuals was often sealed. Torture was a common tool in the inquisitors' arsenal. The rack, the strappado, the thumbscrews, these were not mere instruments of pain, but weapons of psychological warfare. They were designed to break the spirit, to extract confessions, to convert or to condemn. Yet the Inquisition's grim parade did not end at the torture chamber's door. The auto da fe, or act of faith, was a public spectacle of punishment and humiliation. Those found guilty were marched through the streets, forced to wear a San Benito, a garment of shame, before meeting their end at the stake. Thousands lost their lives during the Spanish Inquisition, their voices silenced, their stories buried. Yet the echoes of their suffering reverberate through time, reminding us of a past that must not be forgotten. The Spanish Inquisition serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and religious fanaticism. It's a bleak chapter of our collective history, a testament to the depths of cruelty humanity can descend when fear and prejudice take the helm. Yet it is also a lesson, a stark warning from history, urging us to champion compassion over cruelty, understanding over intolerance, and love over fear. The Atlantic slave trade, an abhorrent chapter in human history, was marked by unimaginable suffering and loss of life. This was a time when human beings were commoditized, bought and sold like livestock, their worth reduced to the labor they could provide. Let's delve into the brutal conditions under which slaves were transported and sold. The journey across the Atlantic, known as the Middle Passage, was a nightmare few could imagine. Packed like sardines into the dank dark holds of ships, slaves endured unspeakable conditions. Disease, starvation, and death were constant companions on these voyages. It's estimated that between 10 and 20% of slaves died on these horrific crossings. On arrival in the New World, slaves were sold in bustling markets, their teeth checked, muscles evaluated, and bodies poked and prodded like they were mere objects. Men, women, and children were torn apart from their families, their cries of despair echoing through the auction blocks. But the impact of the Atlantic slave trade extends far beyond the immediate horror. This trade left a devastating and lasting imprint on the world. It led to the decimation of African societies, the forced migration of millions, and the creation of a racial hierarchy that persists to this day. Furthermore, the wealth generated from this trade helped to fuel the Industrial Revolution and build the economic powerhouses of the West. This is a stark reminder that much of the world's prosperity was built on the suffering of others. Yet, it is also important to remember that amidst this darkness, there were glimmers of resilience and resistance. Slaves fought back, staged revolts, and created rich cultures and communities against all odds. Their spirit and their struggle continue to resonate in the fight for equality and justice today. The Atlantic slave trade is a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty and exploitation, yet it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring struggle for freedom and dignity. As we look back on this dark chapter, we must confront the uncomfortable truths of our past and strive to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. History, as we've seen, has its dark side, but it's important to remember these aspects no matter how uncomfortable. Today, we've journeyed through the untold stories of architectural marvels built on the backs of the oppressed. We've walked the blood-soaked sands of arenas where life and death were sport. We've delved into dark chapters of human history, marred by unimaginable horrors. We've confronted humanity's shame, grappling with atrocities that echo through the ages. Each of these chapters serves as a stark reminder. They underscore the importance of acknowledging the darker aspects of our past. For it is only through this acknowledgement that we can truly learn from history. We must never shy away from these uncomfortable truths. Instead, we ought to face them head-on, to glean insights and lessons that can guide us towards a more compassionate, understanding, and inclusive future. By acknowledging the dark side of our past, we can strive to ensure that history does not repeat itself.